We are back. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of CRL Chart Request Live. I'm Spencer. I'm filling in for Steve. I'm not Steve, obviously, but you know this guy, Patrick Donawilla, editor of the Chart Report. Pat, it's been a while since you and I have done this.
I know, I know.
I don't
We're
know if
getting
I
the
remember
band back
how.
together though.
I don't know if I remember how, but all right, you know the drill by now. If you're new to the show for some reason, it's Chart Request Live. You provide the requests, we provide the charts. So drop your ticker in the chat, or even better, email us. We have an email that's going on the bottom of the screen there. If you email us questions at stockmarketmedia.com, we go through the inbox first and then get to the chat. So shall we dance?
Let's dance.
Let's dance. All right. Well, where are we starting? I forget where I told you to start. CHWY, right? That's what I said.
Chewy, yeah, let's
Yeah,
start with Chewy.
this is from Joseph. Joseph is looking at CHWY on a 6 to 12 month time frame. That's his time horizon.
6 to 12 month time frame. I think the level's pretty clear here. Let's start with a weekly and let's do a line chart to get those weekly closes. So this is obviously since its IPO here back, what is that, 2019? I think the
Yeah.
level's pretty clear. It's this right here. So that's what is that? 20, call it 24-ish. I mean, on a closing basis, really like 25. Yeah, call it 25. But you can see it was those post IPO lows in 2019. Then again, the 2022 lows, so those bear market lows right here. And then we tried to reclaim it here at the end of the year, got rejected. So, I mean, nothing to do with it. No reason to buy it if it's below 25. But if it reclaims 25, then that's a failed breakdown. And you know what they say, from fail moves come fast moves in the opposite direction. So I think you'd want to be looking at 40 or this 39.40 as a place to take profits if it gets above that 25 level and you get that fail breakdown.
Hold on. Sorry, I was distracted. Josh, I did not get married recently. Well, I mean, I guess I got married somewhere recently, but it was not my. I didn't go to my wedding. I had a wedding. It was not my wedding. But thank you for congratulating me on the next.
You got married fairly recently, right? It was like what,
it was
less
like a
than
year.
2 years?
It was like a year and a half ago. But thank you
Okay,
anyway, Josh. I appreciate that. Hold on, Patrick. You said 25. I'm
25.
I'm gonna say 22 only because that was the IPO price.
Okay, well, see, there you go. That kind of that's
Yeah.
further confirmation, or it makes it. Wait, 22 is the IPO price.
The IPO price, not the open price.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. Oh, that's
Right.
interesting that
Yep.
it's right around that area too. And that would make sense that a significant price like that would act as lows here in 2019, 2020, right
Yep.
after. And this was the pandemic here, right here, and it
Mm.
held then too. It looks like it overshot a little bit, but
Oh, the good old days where you price an IPO nice and low and jack it up on the open because that's the way this goes. So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway. All
But
right.
25 is your clear level. And then you could also draw this in here too, like a trend line break. Oh, yeah, when it comes to trend lines, you want to do the best fit line. Doesn't, I wouldn't get too caught up with if it's precisely connecting the highs or the closes. But yeah, that would likely coincide with a break here. Take profits around 40, you'd probably get like a retest or something after that. But let's move on.
All right. App Lovin from Hanson, APP, 6 month time horizon. This is the kind of chart I've bought these charts
Whoa.
before. I've bought these charts before, anticipating the breakout. That doesn't just because it's at a resistance doesn't mean it's going to, you know, break through the ceiling, so to speak. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
sometimes those most obvious levels, they can play tricks on you where you'll get the breakout and then a couple days later it'll give it back and then you're
Oh yeah.
still
Oh
moving.
yep. Oh yeah. I've been
Yeah.
there.
So this one, what's that level? Like 44, 45-ish? Uh,
It's yeah, 45.
So we started off here in a weekly. What is this? What do they do?
Oh, I mean it's software, man. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it might be some sort of software play like that. And can you see this arc here? I know it's a little dark there. We can.
Yeah, yeah, I got that.
But yeah, so you have this little base in September forming. So what is that, 5 month base, something like that. And within a nice uptrend too, that's a nice clean uptrend. You get this consolidation, this base right at a pretty important level. This was, the former lows, then it was resistance. So now we're testing it 4 month base. If it's above, call it like 46 for confirmation. But if it's above 46, then your first place you want to take profits probably around 56 here. That's those lows from 2021 and then the highs from April 2022. But then, I mean, if it goes beyond that, then you're looking at all-time highs around 117, 116.
Yeah. Big,
But
big.
that's a nice,
But you know what
really
though?
testing.
Whoever sent it, was this from Hanson? I think it was from Hanson in the email. It was. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this because it is right there. It is.
I think Hanson's a regular because the name sounds familiar. I think we've seen him in the mailbag a few
Oh,
times.
for sure we have. He's definitely a regular. So good call out, Hanson. All right, Wavy, one of my favorites. He's
What
always
is Wavy brought for us today?
Yeah, he's always got down to bring us a good one here. Wavy, you must have been watching CNBC because I was watching what he was watching the other day. So Wavy's talking about GEO, the
Ah,
the private prison company.
oh
Um,
wow. Whoa.
I was watching. I don't usually watch CNBC. I don't have a TV in my office, but I was watching it. I guess yesterday or the day before. I guess it was the day before, and they had a policy guy on. This is on at like Fast Money, whatever their after the close show is, and talking about Trump stocks and Biden stocks. And Geo got a mention, and I was like,
Okay.
oh yeah, I forgot about that stock. So
So so this is one that it's one of those political football stocks, right? Like it kind of moves based on politics, right?
yep, yep,
Private prisons, it's kind of hot topic.
yep.
Um, and I think didn't Michael Burry get involved in this one too?
That's exactly what Josh just said. Yeah,
I
yeah,
could be wrong. Yeah, I mean, it seems like something he'd do too, right? That's his
yeah.
style. But anyway, anyway, so you got the downtrend break here. That's a pretty long-term downtrend. I mean, that's 2019 to 2022 there. And then you got this nice little cup here, and this is part of kind of a bigger consolidation, a bigger bottom forming here, and that's what you need. A reversal usually isn't just downtrend to uptrend. There's usually a basing process that needs to happen, and that's what's going on here, it looks like. So this is a weekly, but then we'll drop it into a daily after this. But this is what I'm talking about here since December 2022. So pretty much a little over a year. I'm going to change this color. All right. Yeah, that's a nice base. This was wavy.
Yep.
Nice. So I'd say 1250 is your level. And I mean, you could even jump it a little bit, call it 12 here, probably on a closing basis. It's more like 12. Um, but yeah, I think breaking out of a 1 year base here, then for a target, I would fib this base out. So boom, boom. Sorry.
What happened? I'm gonna look it up. What happened to the stock in 2017 to make it go to like $47, $49? What the heck? I'm gonna try to find what happened there.
In 2017, huh?
That candle makes no sense. There was probably some
Wait,
legislation. It was probably some legislation about private prisons,
there's
but
something here. This yellow thing I'm trying to get to. Is it a split?
no, there's just a
That's three to two split.
there's a wicked wick in 2017. It's too. I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm not gonna. I'm not going.
It might be election related. Yeah, so that massive gap here, that looks like it was right around the election.
Oh, was it? Oh, what
Yeah,
was it 2016? I thought it was.
this was probably the day Trump got elected, and then it ran, and
Oh,
the whole market ran after the
no,
election.
I'm
Remember
seeing
that?
April of 17. So I don't know what that's about, but
Oh, this one, yeah, this nasty. Oh,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
August.
I don't know.
Huh.
All
We'll look
right,
at that
I'm not gonna
later,
scroll
but
back that far. Forget it. That was a long time ago. 7 years. Okay, moving on.
I would say for this target, I'd be looking at 1550 there. Um, but yeah, that's a nice base, and looks like it's got earnings coming up on what is that? I think that's Valentine's Day, right? February 14th.
Dude, I don't know. Every year I say I'm gonna remember and I never do, so I don't know.
I
Look,
think that's one of those holidays that just stays consistent. It's on the
yeah, it
same
does.
day
It
every
does.
year.
The one thing, last thing I'll say about this was as I said, this was mentioned in the CNBC thing. Trump stocks and Biden stocks. There are really there's no such thing as like Biden stocks, really. But the one that the guy mentioned when asked about it was ADP. Listen to the stretch, Patrick. Listen to the stretch. So ADP, right? The payroll
Yeah.
processing company, because there's going to be more immigrants flooding into America under Biden policies. Therefore, more people working. Therefore, good for ADP. That's
That
that.
is quite the that's a lot of steps there. And you know what?
That's a mountain of steps is what that is.
You know what? On that note, and like we're not talking politics, but it's so often the opposite of what people expect. Like the
Yes.
narrative was Trump would be bad for tech stocks and great for energy stocks, like oil stocks, right? The
Yep.
opposite couldn't have been more true. Energy stocks got killed under his administration. Tech stocks did great. And then the opposite's also true with Biden too. So it's completely apolitical, but a lot of the times the narrative is just completely wrong.
Yep. Okay, moving on here.
All right.
This was from Gerbier. He's asking for which chart is better right now to use, Square or PayPal?
Well,
So
let's look.
two,
All right, let's look at
two,
both here.
yeah, and
So
then maybe we'll look at a relative basis, but
yeah. So this is square, right? Just kind of range bound, right? In between the 80s and down here, kind of the 50s there. You had this false move here, so that's kind of nice. And you got kind of a nice upside resolution, but couldn't break out of that range. And you know what? This is kind of part of a bigger issue, right? Small caps. It's kind of, I mean, those two charts look awfully similar, right? So, sorry, let me put in a clear view. Yeah. But this is the Russell 2000 small caps, and then this is Square. So it's kind of similar, right? They're all these kind of more speculative, smaller stocks, although Square isn't that small. Um,
Square is not a small cap
no,
though.
it's not. Yeah, but
But
it's
that is
acting like
interesting.
one. It
That
looks
is
like one.
interesting.
Yeah. Um, so, so that's where let's look at PayPal. This one's had a rough go, right? And this
Yeah.
one, Spencer, you remember when this was just like one of those steady trenders? I mean, this was for its whole life up until a couple years ago, up until this cycle, this was
Yeah.
the stock to own. Could do no wrong, but now what are we dealing with as far as drawdown? 80% drawdown. Wow. Uh,
That's brutal.
any fundamental reason you think, Spencer? Like, I mean,
Oh
so many
gosh.
stocks have recovered from their drawdown or at least retraced half.
No, I know we had someone on the show a month or so ago, Brad Freeman, who talked about the stock, but and I think they have a new CEO. There's new leadership there. These things take time to turn around. But no, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and say something like, but because I really don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, for a while, for like a brief moment there, this thing was like a quote unquote crypto play, right? Because you
Oh,
can,
okay.
right, buy crypto through Venmo or whatever. But I really don't know. So sorry.
So we got this here. You're holding this level decently, the 60 level. And you can kind of see like this bottoming pattern, this base kind of forming. The downtrend is starting to slow here, and it's kind of building. You could call it inverted head and shoulders, but again, rather than getting too picky about the structure of the pattern, it's more of just the general shape of the pattern, and that's kind of it's trying, right? But it needs to hold that 60 level there. And but now we'll look at them on a relative basis. Sorry, let's get rid of all these indicators. So Square versus PayPal. And for those of you guys who don't know how to use ratio charts, we're just looking at Square divided by PayPal. And when the numerator is outperforming, the line goes up. When it's underperforming, it goes down. So when Square is outperforming, this chart's moving up and to the right. And when it's underperforming, it's moving down. So right now, I mean, this has just kind of been a range-bound mess these last couple of years.
Yeah.
Square's actually been underperforming. That's tough. That's a tough one.
So do we have an answer for rest of the year? I think it was rest of the year. Square or PayPal?
I'd have to go with Square on this one. I
Yeah.
think this probably resolves higher. Yeah, you see momentum down here. Let me get rid of this. This is nice little divergence here, new low here, but RSI didn't, and it's also getting out of oversold territory, so that's nice. I think you probably see a pop here. That's Square outperforming. So I think you'd stick with Square here. But good question. Definitely, two kind of complement or supplementary.
Complimentary.
Yeah.
Complimentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, look, they're peers. I don't know if I would be fishing in this pond, but if you want to fish in this pond, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. One more from the inbox, then we'll go to the chat. Let's talk about Zscaler. This
All
is a
right.
question from Giovanni. He's looking for an entry for Zscaler. They're thinking maybe a ride back to the all-time highs by year end in Zscaler. I could see that.
Oh, whoa. I'm looking at the wrong chart here. Okay. First thing I would do on this one is probably fib it out.
Mm.
I'm sorry, what were they looking for?
They're asking about, or I guess they're wondering, or their thesis is all-time highs by year end. They're looking for an entry. That's the question. An entry here.
I mean, yeah, you want to see, I mean, if this is a new bull market and you're long the stock, obviously, that's the objective. It should, if this is a stock you want to own for the long term, it should get back to all-time highs by the end of the year. But so this Fibonacci is a nice roadmap here. It already reclaimed the 38.2, which is kind of that first test. You can see it coincided with resistance here from September 2022. And when you break that 38.2, that kind of opens the door for this yellow line, which is the 61.8 retracement. So that's right around 260. So what it does here will kind of tell us whether or not it has a good chance of getting back to all-time highs. Because if it usually, and this is just a general rule, if it reclaims the 61.8, which, it's reclaimed 61% or 62% of its drawdown, then that usually gets you back to all-time highs. So in other words, it's recouped a majority of its decline. That usually gets you all the way back, but not always. So if it gets rejected here, it might pull back down here towards the 38.2, find some support here, and then crack it. But those are your clear levels right here between 195 and 260.
All right. To the chat we go. Josh asking about VRNS Varonis. This is a cyber play, $5 billion cyber play. Have I seen this in one of your scans, Pat?
Yeah, this one has shown up a few times on the buzz and in the heat check.
Yeah, that's right.
It's definitely a name that gets a lot of attention. I don't know what they do. I think it is a software.
Yeah, it's cybersecurity, yeah.
Oh, okay, cybersecurity. Oh.
I think they're a vendor of cybersecurity software.
Sorry.
I thought this sounded familiar.
Varonis? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is not sticking for me. There we go. So this is kind of a similar scenario though, right? Reclaimed the 38.2, and now you're looking at 50, 51 for the 61.8. It's kind of in this no man's land. But if it reclaims 50, 51, and that's kind of an important psychological level, then then you're looking at all-time highs around 72. Uh, but again, it could hit it and then bounce back down, retest this 38 level, and then crack it. And that would make sense too, right? Like just real quick, like pathwise, if it kind of went down here and then boom, that would kind of look more like a base, right? Like bases are kind of that messy process of zigs and zags. It's not just a straight line. That's kind of what creates the roundedness of the base. So that's actually probably your more likely scenario than just, this just going right through and just
Yeah, some kind of a rejection.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it could turn out like a meta. This one has, oh yeah, there you go. You got the breakout, but this one is one that didn't even really base. It just V'd. It just
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
from a 76% drawdown to all-time high. So,
Yeah,
and
these
you know what? Jesse Shapiro or what's his name?
Jason.
Jason Shapiro, sorry. Yeah. He had a great tweet the other day and he was like, he listed all the drawdowns of all the FANG stocks. And he was like, is that enough of a drawdown for you? Like, we already had the bear market. Everybody was calling for it now. We just had that in 2022. So,
I mean, I think Facebook or Meta set and then broke its own record for biggest market cap erasure in one day. It just there was
oh,
some,
in one day.
yeah, there were some absolutely brutal days for this stock, of course. A distant memory now at the all-time highs. But
Well, this was by far the biggest drawdown too. Look at
yeah,
that.
yeah, that was on an earnings day. I remember that day. Um,
Oh man. It
yeah,
bottomed on an earnings day? Or
yeah,
close to it.
yeah, right around there. All right, let's stick with tech and then we'll get off of that. But Curtis is asking about Oracle. So
Oracle.
the stodgy value tech just sort of bunch in, but
Do you
that's
call this
Oracle.
stodgy?
Oracle, yeah, sure.
Wait, what does stodgy mean? Like kind of old and
Yeah, yeah, like old and slow, right?
okay.
Like, Oracle's version of a V is going from like 80 to 90 to 60 to 90, which I guess is a pretty big move, but you know, this thing ain't going parabolic, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So 100 is a really important level for this thing. That was kind of the breakout level back in May of last year. That was kind of right around when NVIDIA broke out and you started seeing some large caps starting to break out for the first time. And we were all just kind of in disbelief because we forgot what the word all-time highs sounded like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and next thing you know, now we have a lot of things at all-time highs. I think that big NVIDIA report, that was in May, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and who knows? Oracle probably mentioned the word AI around here too, and then the market said, "Oh, that's good enough. Let's bring them to all-time highs." So nice little. I still call this a cup and handle pattern, even though you already got the breakout here. This is, at least a nice flag or nice consolidation. You got a successful retest twice. The Bears tried to break it back down to 100 and ruin this breakout, but they couldn't. Buyers showed up at that 100 level. That's clear information that the stock tested it. It tested 100 and the level held twice. So, um, short term 117. If it clears that, then you're looking at all-time highs around 125-ish. 125. I mean, those are two pretty good stops right there. You can kind of reevaluate after that, but yeah, this one's behaving well.
Okay, well, let's get off of tech and go to healthcare. Curtis is asking, I think it was Curtis, is asking about AstraZeneca, AZN. This has been lagging, man. This has been lagging its sector. Pretty who else? No, sorry, it was Donovan asked him for AZN, but this has been a lag in its sector. You just look at AZN versus healthcare. Not good.
Um, what is it? PPH? What's the healthcare?
Well, I mean, you could just do like the the XLV, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, uh,
Well, we'll just look at it on its own first.
yeah.
All right. And I see what you mean. I mean, it's been kind of forming this top. This is a really long-term chart we're looking at.
Hmm.
But I like to start kind of bigger picture and then we kind of zoom in. But you can see it really kind of had its last nice trend moment back in April 2022. And then it's just kind of, yeah, it made a new high here, but it's just been kind of stalling, just marginally a new high. Um, and that stall has been going on for quite some time. But you could draw kind of a head and shoulders here. Uh, that was kind of messy there, but um, without taking too much time to get precise here, um, I would say the neckline's right around the 62 level here. So, and then we'll go down into a daily here. Actually, hold on, I want to do this real quick.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, getting
Okay.
messy here. Okay, so that consolidation, let me get rid of these. This is kind of interesting. So the trend kind of hit this 2618 extension, and that's kind of when it started rolling over, when it started losing momentum here. And then not to make this chart even more messy, but you also kind of want to be keeping an eye on this general trend line here.
Mm,
And that kind of coincides with this neckline here. So if we go down and test this 62 level and we break that, you got two pretty important support levels here that are failing. But what like we saw with NVIDIA recently, and this is in a strong sector, pharmaceuticals have been strong. So I could totally see a scenario where we do kind of break the neckline here, we punch through it, and then that kind of just like a false move. I'm not saying this will happen, but this could
yep.
happen, and it's a scenario to kind of be aware of. And then that could kind of spark a really nice move. And just to show you what I'm talking about here, this is NVIDIA in a daily here. This was the head and shoulders heard around the world. Everybody and their dog saw this pattern. And it was a clean textbook head and shoulders pattern. I won't take the time to draw it now, but you actually did have the little breakdown here for one day, and then it went on this just ripper. And here we are over $600 now. So
Look, for a thing like AstraZeneca, to Pat's point, strong sector, so definitely the right pond to fish in, and you want to ask yourself, does the stock play catch up, right, with the rest of the sector, rising tide lift all boats, or is there a real reason why this stock is not performing with its peers? And that's what you got to ask yourself. Um,
that's great.
yeah. Okay. Let's do a couple more, then we'll hop out. Nicholas asking about XOP
Okay,
pieces. So we can talk some energy here.
we can. So energy has just been a real question mark, I'd say the last for a while now, but because it hasn't broken down, but it hasn't broken out yet either. So it's just been kind of in wait and see mode. But you can see this has been consolidating since June 2022. It's kind of when the whole inflation narrative kind of peaked too. So I don't know what you want to call this pattern, but it's pretty clear, support and resistance here, this range. If you want to turn it into horizontal levels, we can do that too. I like horizontal levels too, and that's a pretty big level, but did he give time frame or anything?
No.
So I'd say right around, man, all the way down to 112 would be support here. That's confirmation, really. You know that a breakdown's starting to happen when it breaks this blue line here.
Mhm.
That should kind of alert you to a breakdown. And then if it breaks this 112 here, that's your confirmation. And then to the upside, if it breaks this 150 level, you should probably start paying attention to a breakout, and then breaks this, the more highs it breaks here. So if it breaks 160, that's even more confirmation. 170, that's more confirmation. And then 180 is the all-time highs here. Oh, nope, not all-time highs. 2018 highs, sorry. Um, but as far as targets go, once you're in it, you want to be looking to significant highs. You want to pull the chart back. If it does get into this white space up here, pull the chart back and look, where did it top out before, and kind of set your targets around there. Maybe jump it a little bit too.
Okay. I think that's a probably reasonable take to have, right?
Yeah.
But to your point we've been waiting and seeing on this one on this sector for a long time. Let's do one more. Let's look at
I
S.
will say though, this is
Yeah.
constructive. This RSI down here, really just doesn't seem to want to get oversold here. So, and you have this divergence here, right? New low here, but RSI not. So if I had to guess here on the resolution, I would probably say upside resolution.
Yeah, but RSI is sort of in no man's land a little bit.
It is, but I like when on a divergence, when the second one doesn't get oversold. I like to
Okay.
see that because sometimes you see a divergence where it starts and oversold, and then the second one is also oversold. But to your point, things can diverge for a while before meaningful move happens.
Yeah, yep. All right, let's do one more. Let's look at SMFG. Um, this is a Japanese bank. Do I have that?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, this is one that's been on the buzz too.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah, super long-term level here. So you had a few levels. So this was kind of the first break here, these 2018 highs, right around 960. But here we are back at $10 again. We've tried to break this level so many times here.
We got nothing like some good old-fashioned 10-year resistance.
This is Japanese, right?
Yeah. I thought Berkshire had bought this stock, but I guess that was wrong. I don't think they did.
You know what? That really does sound familiar. Maybe it's Mitsubishi Bank or
Well,
something.
I know they bought Mitsubishi, but they bought a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if this whole resistance, this 10-year resistance level that we're talking about, coincides with a Fibonacci level here.
They did not. Oh, they did buy this one. Yeah, they did. Oh, wow. Longer ago than I thought. They bought it in 2020. Okay.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So $10 is really your level here. If it's above it, then risk is on. I would use these former lows as a target. You can see it kind of acted as a resistance once it was broken. So 10 gets you to 13, I think. And then 13 probably gets you to 17. Yeah.
That is a heck of a line in the sand right there. Ooh.
But you could also figure out the base here, see where those get you.
How much stock and JC likes to look at, the 10-year resistance or support or whatever. How much stock do you put personally in like that? Because is there really price memory from the 90s? Not in this case, but like you get what I'm saying, right? Is there really
Yeah, I see what you mean.
is there
I
really
think,
price memory from 2010?
yeah, I mean, what creates these levels, it isn't always, those necessarily some bag holder waiting to sell their position. I think it's also kind of a reference point. Big institutions might use these former
That's
levels
fair.
as, kind of levels to make decisions around. So,
That's fair.
because, where else do you make decisions around, as far as
I don't
pricing?
know the VWAP. I'm just assuming.
Right. That's
Actually,
true. Yeah.
yeah,
That's another good point.
yeah. Uh, all right, a lot of good stuff today. A lot of good charts as always.
Yeah.
Thanks for the request. Great job, Pat. We'll be back. But Pat will be back with Steve on Tuesday. So we'll see you guys there. As always, any questions, comments, concerns, email us at the email that's on the screen, questions@stockmarketmedia.com. We do compile those requests ahead of time and hit those during the show. But chat was buzzing today. Love to see that. Thanks for the questions. Josh, Mark, Nicholas. I know we didn't get to all of them, but them's the breaks. John, Daniel, Wavy as always. Curtis, great stuff, everyone. Pat, good to do this again with you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you guys for coming and doing this with us. This is a lot of fun.
all right, see you guys.
Thanks.